Welcome back, and joining me for a closer look at what's played out on the market scene today is Shaun Dendere from Trive Investments. Thank you so much for your time, Shaun. Of course, we're all looking ahead to the State of the Nation address tomorrow, and I was actually looking at the local market. Trading the green, the rand is doing quite well. Is it just that maybe investors are expecting good news on that front?
Firstly, thank you for having me. I don't necessarily think that investors are expecting good news. It is the first SONA under GNU, so we do not know actually what to expect. It's different lay of the land. But I think it's just a follow-on on generally global markets. If you're looking at Asian markets, US markets, they've all been in the green. But let's not hold our breath on that, because markets have been choppy. Especially since Trump has been in the presidency, there is potential tariff wars coming through. So it's going to be a tough tide going forward, and let's see what the SONA brings to us for South Africans locally.
All right. Well, we are also still talking about monetary policy, and the Bank of England weighed in today, cutting interest rates after a hold that we got at the last meeting. Has that rate trajectory changed?
So the rate trajectory, I don't necessarily think it has changed. I know that the powers that be, the BOE, did state that they are potentially seeing inflation rising towards later this year. So, the interest rate cut is really just to stimulate, GDP growth, because they're currently on a low growth level. But once again, it always goes back to these tariff wars that we might be expecting. And that's why the outlook going forward could be very treacherous.
All right. Well, let's take a look at some of the JSE companies that came out with numbers today, and mostly miners. It was quite interesting looking at the Anglo stable that Amplats and Kumba Iron Ore actually got quite a hit on their share prices today. Let's actually start off with Amplats. I do understand that there was kind of a mixed bag when it came to production there, but saying that they expect their bottom line to decrease by, I think, over 40% or just under 50%. Just talk to me about the pressure that Amplats has continued to experience.
So Anglo American Platinum has been under a lot of pressure since last year. If I lean into the share price, yes, the results were a bit of a mixed bag. Actually, mixed bag is maybe me being nice, not that great.
Yeah.
And what has happened there is that there's also the issue that they are selling off a majority of that business. And PGM stocks last year were under really a lot of pressure, so the platinum price, rhodium, and the like. And I think that's just filtered through to, their financial results and their cash income per se, on top of, this restructuring that they're trying to navigate.
Well, talk about navigation. Of course, we know that Kumba has had to navigate their production to kind of be in line to meet what Transnet can actually produce and get out of the country. Also coming out and saying that they expect their bottom line to decrease also by, I think, over 40%, just under 50%. Also looking like the iron ore market is quite shaky.
It is quite tricky. Looking at the numbers there at Kumba, right, is that their biggest issue is the rail, right? It is Transnet. They are not able to actually transport what they need to transport and deliver. Their production was actually slightly up. The price of their products was also slightly up, but they need to find a way or work around with their relationship with Transnet in order for that business to potentially turn around. Even the numbers were a bit buffered, because I know that in China there was an uptick of steel demand for that specific business. So it is definitely going to be a long road for them. As long as the government-private partnership works out through Transnet, maybe we'll see a turnaround.
All right. Well, let's talk about DRD Gold. Of course, we know that gold miners have found quite a lot of favor because of the gold price. We did have the interim trading statement out there saying that they expect the bottom line to surge by between 60 and 70%, saying that they remain on track to achieve production and cost guidance. We did see, of course, the share climbing there. What's guiding the appetite that investors have here?
So I think we just spoke about different miners where it's a bit tough, but it's quite nice to be in the gold business currently.
Yeah.
So looking at those numbers, I think since last year coming into this year, there has been a lot of uncertainty in the market. Last year, we're looking at high interest rates, high inflation, and so on and so forth. And in terms of massive uncertainty, we see that people pile into gold. It's traditionally a safe haven asset, and we go into 2025. Then we also now in a scenario whereby we got new political powers in the United States. So gold has been on a rally. I think even last week, Friday, if I'm not mistaken, it reached new all-time highs. I do believe that going forward into this year, that gold price is really going to, keep either steady or keep growing. And from a production perspective, they've also done quite well. So in terms of the actual business, their operations, and the market environment that they are operating in, I believe, that's really doing well for that actual business.
Quite interesting there, because in morning trade, it did pop by about 3%, now down just over 1%. So guessing that investors are taking profit there. Let's get to your stock pick for today, Shaun. What will it be?
And in times of volatility and uncertainty, I think gold is the best way to go, or not best, but in my opinion. So I would look into investing in a gold ETF. So I wouldn't invest in DRD per se or gold mining company, but rather an ETF. Takes away the risk of the actual company itself.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your analysis today, Shaun. That was Shaun Dendere from Trive Investments.